So let's see, we have the 8 of Cups. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to say straight off the bat, the karmic or third party, however you think of them, is actually currently asking themselves, should they walk away from your person? How can they walk away? Is it best to walk away? They're not emotionally fulfilled. Even if this is something that they have given months or years of their time to, because 8 cups is a lot of cups, you know, especially if we're only going up to 10. However, all of these cups are unfulfilling to this third party, and this third party has a sense that there is a connection out there that's better for them, someone they could click more with, someone who maybe would appreciate them more and that they would appreciate more. And I feel that this is something the third party has been thinking about for a good while, and maybe even overcomplicating. It's almost like their intuitive knowing and gut feeling is very clear, which is walk away, you're not satisfied. But they're doing all of this intellectual thinking, and perhaps it's because other people are involved, children, friends, family have blended, maybe they have shared property or something like that. Okay, let's see, what else? How else does this third party or karmic think and feel about my viewer's person? How does the karmic or third party feel? The Hanged Man in reverse, exactly. It's like, I would like to free myself now. I've been holding on for much longer than I wanted to, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make a move. We have Pisces here, and you know, if we think of the Hanged Man, the energy of Pisces as being very intuitive, you see how it's reversed? This person, the third party, is not listening to what they know intuitively. It's very, very obvious. You know, they want to leave. And in the reverse, it's funny because this Hanged Man upside down, it's like he's celebrating, his arms are up, and it's like, yes, you know, I'm free. Rather than it looking like the vines are holding him in place. I do get the feeling for some of you that this third party has been around for a long time. Well, I mean, with your person hanging around, it sounds weird, like they've just been stalking your person for a long time. But, you know, whatever situation they've got with your person, I think it's been a long time for some of you. Long enough for things, material things, to have grown, for time to have been invested. But it's almost like as the material wealth has accumulated, the emotion, passion, all of those things has decreased. Let's see, what else? How does a third party feel about my viewer's person? 3 of Swords. So they may feel that there's been some pain in the situation between them and your person, some betrayal, heartbreak. I'm seeing so much overthinking as well. There's definitely a concern about appearances. How do we look to the neighbours? How do we look to our friends and family? 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So this third party is feeling like things aren't balanced. They may even feel in some cases that your person has been selfish with them, or that they've brought more to the table than your person has. And again, it could be that it's been this way all along, but my feeling is more that there was some kind of illusion going on at the start, and the third party feels now that they're seeing the truth. So the illusion could have been, and I think this will apply especially if you and this person have an intense but maybe complicated connection, and you know that your person ran to something that seems superficially easier and simpler. This third party may feel that they were tricked. Maybe your person was presenting an image of, I'm here, I'm present, I'm available, I'm not interested in anyone else, I'm ready to give. But as time passed, they realized that your person wasn't fully invested because they still had you in their mind, or they were with this third party because of maybe their financial position or something like that, and your person has maybe gained more than this other person has in a practical sense. At least that's the perspective of this third party. And if that's not your situation, if your person and the third party were already together when you met this person, I think the same thing applies. Something has changed. Something is not how it was when they first met, and they could feel that they've given more to this than your person has, or they've sacrificed themselves more. Okay, what else, please? How does the third party feel about my viewer's person? What are they thinking about my viewer's person? The Tower. I mean, there we go. You see, that says it all. We have Scorpio energy there. I I think this third party is praying for something, some external influence to come in and really shake things up so that they can be free, and that your person can be free of this situation without them, the third party, having to be the one who initiates the separation or the breakup. And that's a similar energy that we see quite often when we look into what your person's feeling about you, and a third party wishing that there would be a tower moment to free them. So it's almost like we've got the third party and your person sitting on the sofa together, both wishing some external influence would come in and break them up, you know, and push them on their way in separate directions here. I also feel with the tower linking to, you know, Scorpionic energy, if we think of Scorpio's connection to Pluto, the third party feels that this connection has really done a number on them. It has broken them down. They've had to rebuild themselves. They might know, you know, they might feel like a whole different person to who they were when they entered this connection, but not in a particularly good way. They might feel a bit, as I said, there's an energy coming through from the third party, whether you agree or not, whether, you know, objectively we might agree or not, that they have sacrificed themselves here. So I don't know if the third party has a bit of like martyr syndrome, or they have sacrificed themselves, but this is just their opinion on things. Okay. I also get for some of you, and this will be just some of you, that your person has done something that the third party feels was a kind of betrayal. So I don't know if they found out that your person was dealing with someone else behind their back. For some of you, you know, it could be that you have been speaking to your person and you know that the karmic or third party found out or something like that. Or maybe your person could have done something with the money and the finances, with the Six of Pentacles reversed, almost like the third party, their opinion is they were bringing in the finances and your person was draining them, or something like that. But for some of you, the third party would say that there has been secrecy and betrayal. And I will say, this is definitely a very subjective view of things, because so far the third party is presenting themselves as perfect. They have come in, given their all, sacrificed, remained even though they're unhappy, and been betrayed by your person. Now, there's got to be a scale, you know, depending on the situation. For some of them that's going to be more or less true, but no one really in any connection tends to be 100% the saint, you know, and I'm not seeing anything that they're admitting, you know, well, I did do this or I did do that. For example, we could say the third party has known for a long time that what they want to do is leave, but they have actively been staying. So if they feel that their time is being wasted, they're being taken for granted, they're unhappy, part of that is on them because they are choosing to stay. But there's no acknowledgement of that, at least yet. And one more thing, I do feel for some of you, the third party, as I said, is very, very concerned about appearances, and that can sometimes indicate a bit of a controlling nature. You know, like they've met your person and they've said, you would be perfect if you changed this, you dressed that way instead, you worked here instead. And they've tried to shape your person and mold them, and that's very controlling. And there might be times where your person just wants to be who they actually are, and that annoys the third party, and the third party feels like, why are you showing us up? Well, they're not, they're just being who they are, but you aren't accepting them fully, you know? Okay. Three of Cups, yeah. So for some of you, the third party would say that the person you're interested in has betrayed them, is a bit of a flirt, to say the very least. It could also be that this third party feels that they're very serious, sensible, they're always taking care of responsibilities, but your person is more interested in sitting back, relaxing, drinking, seeing friends. Not listening to them, I'm hearing as well, like listening more to friends and family than them, you know, than the third party. So feeling like they're not really a strong unit or a team. So far, I will say the third party's opinion and feelings about your person seems to be pretty negative, and the only reason I think they're still together is practical things like, well, the time we've given, how do we separate ourselves, maybe we have children, what will people think? It's not emotional. They're not still together because of, you know, feelings. I also feel that the third party feels unattractive with your person, and it's almost like they felt, maybe let's say they felt fine, attractive, or just whatever, you know, good about themselves before they met your person. When they met your person, it was all charm, charisma, they felt great, and that's rapidly declined. And now one of the things a third party would say is that they actually feel worse about themselves than they did before they met your person. It's almost like they're seeing the people that your person perhaps is around or talking to, or the people they're imagining your person is talking to, and comparing themselves and feeling like they don't match up. Now, I don't even think this is just about appearances. I think it's about maybe what goes on behind closed doors, and how your person and the third party are speaking to each other, the things they're saying, the lack of support that they're giving to each other. And again, we're not seeing it from the third party, but I think it goes both ways probably. Okay, let's see, what else? How else is the third party thinking and feeling? Queen of Cups. See, look, the third party is saying, I have been patient, compassionate, giving. I've given you everything, my whole heart, and look what you've done to it. Three of Swords. You've stabbed it, not once, but many times. But then look at this Queen of Cups. She's got one cup raised in the air, the other she's pouring onto the floor. So you see, they have not valued each other truly. Your person and this third party have not been careful with each other. They've not valued, loved, and respected each other. Because I'm sort of wondering whether this was even a good connection for them to both be in for the long term in the first place. Perhaps at some point, you know, Eight of Cups, maybe there was a Two of Cups connection. If so, I think it's long since served its purpose, and they were kind of supposed to go their separate ways. And there's blame. The third party saying, look what you've done to me, look how you've disrespected me, look how you've hurt me, look how you've ruined me in my life. Whereas your person's probably saying, look how you've controlled me, look how you've made me feel like I'm not good enough as the person I am. Look how now I'm stuck with you because of the finances, or because we have a child or children. Yeah, it's pretty low vibrational, I would say. I'm not going to take all of those. Okay. And if your person isn't talking to other people or dealing with other people outside of the third party, it's the degree of insecurity that this third party is feeling within this connection that they really believe your person is. And maybe they don't get much attention, and there isn't really any passion anymore. Well, I'm not seeing it here for sure in this connection, so they assume your person is being fulfilled in that way elsewhere. Terrible communication as well, I would say. The only swords we have so far are the Three of Swords, and we know that's not nice communication. It's painful, it's wounding. Okay, how does a third party feel, please, about my viewer's person? And there's almost a feeling of preemptive anger and resentment. If these two break up and go their separate ways, and then the third party finds out your person, say, is with you and is showing up, is loving, is supportive, is happy, it's almost like this third party is going to be even more resentful, like, well, how come you weren't that way with me? Whereas maybe the right view of things would be, clearly we just weren't right for each other. Or not right for you, but like sort of more productive, healthier, high vibrational view of things. Okay, one more please. How is the third party feeling and thinking about my viewer's person? How is the third party thinking and feeling about my viewer's person? We're getting another message here, but I'll do that in a minute. How are they feeling? Anything else to say? Maybe that's it then. Maybe we don't need a final 8th card. No, I think that's it. As I was shuffling, Spirit was telling me, ask how the third party sees your person. So outside of their connection, like as an individual, what does the third party actually think of your person? Oh good, I have another deck here. We'll use this one. Three of Swords, Six of Pentacles. Okay, so this third party thinks that your person does have it in them to be generous, but they're just not that way with them. Okay, then Spirit, so the third party, how do they see my viewer's person? What do they think of my viewer's person as a solo single individual? What's their opinion of my viewer's person? Wow. Three of Pentacles reversed, that this is not a team player, that they can be selfish, but they present a good image of saying like, yeah, I'm here for, you know, the group, whereas they're sort of self-interested. Yep, Nine of Pentacles and Judgment. Yeah, okay, so the third party thinks of your person as being almost like a bit of a selfish person. They're interested in what they can get out of situations, and maybe that once they've got what they need and were looking for, they check out. Nine of Cups, yeah, self-satisfaction. That this is someone who is not romantic, and also maybe doesn't value emotions, doesn't value romance, is also disconnected from this softer side, or disconnected from their romantic nature or emotions. So they may feel that your person is not sort of fully rounded, like, you know, head and heart. There's not a balance there. Oh, and the Empress. Wow, you're getting confused. Your person's third party, the third party, in some cases knows that your person has all of the feelings that are missing within their connection for someone else, you. They may not know it's you, you know exactly who you are, but they just know there is someone else. And the third party may be suspecting that at some point in the very near future, your person is going to leave them for this other person, known or unknown, you know, as I said, whether they know it's you or not. That message aside, for some of you, the third party might think that your person is a bit too attached to their mother or a feminine energy, and that could be the person whose opinion they listen to over this third party. And I think also, again, for some of you, the third party thinks that your person is easily swayed by beauty, physical attractiveness, things that are sensual, nice to look at, to touch, luxury, you know, easily seduced by those things. So I would say the third party's opinion of your person essentially is that your person is a little bit shallow, that they're not fully complete, in that they reject parts of themselves. For example, the softer, more emotional side, they don't see value in the emotions, but it's almost like that's a cover up for what they know to be the truth, which is that your person has these emotions, but not for them, for someone else. So I would say, if I had to sum up how the third party sees your person in one word, it would be selfish. But that's very interesting, isn't it? Because the third party met your person and knew they weren't a great match, but felt that they could shape them into who they needed them to be. So that in itself seems a little bit selfish. Okay, so let's get a few of these chakra cards, see what's going on here. Just to finish up. Okay, Spirit, what messages do you have, please? About how the third party sees my viewer's person. How does the third party see my viewer's person? How does the third party see my viewer's person? Creation. Okay, so this could be someone that they have created something with, a life, a business, a family. Yeah, okay. Also, the color grey in this deck is corresponding to the crown chakra, so they could see this person as having been a catalyst for them realizing something about themselves. And we know that's, you know, the crown is all about higher level wisdom. So it's almost like, you know, looking back in the long run, this third party will be like, okay, I can see the value in this experience, but in the moment it's like, to hell with, you know, wisdom and experience. I'm bitter, I'm resentful, I deserve better. Okay, so they would say, yeah, the Plutonic energy here with the Tower, with Scorpio, it's like this has been a very enlightening, a very transformational connection. And we know that in the moment, those are not really necessarily the most fun. Okay, yes, we have growth. Oh my goodness, for sure. Mysticism. What I'm getting with this mysticism card is also a link to that secrecy and feeling like there are parts, oh my god, that links to this Scorpionic energy as well. There are parts of your person that this third party feels that they still, however long they've been doing whatever they're doing with each other or together, they still don't know. There are parts of your person they will never know, they will never see or understand. See, trickery. There we go. So yeah, there are parts of this person they don't have access to and they suspect they never will. For a lot of you, the third party feels like the victim here, that they were tricked. It's almost like they were promised this amazing acorn. And I think the message behind this card is that the dragon, while the dragon is sweet talking the squirrel, obviously doesn't give the acorn but steals the other acorns that the squirrel has spent lots of time collecting. And you can see it's winter, so how easy is it going to be for the squirrel to replace these acorns? Not very. So you see what I mean? The third party feels that they have been diminished, something has been taken from them by this connection and by your person, who has gained immensely in terms of maybe money, position, status, visibility, whatever it is. But then we have to ask, I mean, did the squirrel know on some level? Look at this dragon. What is this dragon doing here? It doesn't look very friendly. Should I be suspicious? Should I listen to my gut feeling that's telling me I should probably keep moving along my way? And maybe that's the wisdom that this third party has learned here. Trust your gut, trust your intuition. So I think maybe, it's almost like after this connection, the third party's going to have to do some healing, but they have gained in wisdom. Maybe they've learned to trust themselves, not to ignore their intuition. And maybe upon reflection, hopefully to take a little bit of accountability for things they're doing. For example, pushing someone to be a different sort of person or to behave a different way, maybe even on the most basic level of to wear different clothes, to drop certain friends. Okay, so not necessarily the easiest or happiest connection, and I would say that however this connection began, if there was passion to begin with, if there was love, attraction, whatever it was to begin with, it's not there now. Now it's purely based on practicalities, and if those practicalities were to end or blow up, if there was some tower moment, the third party in your person would go their separate ways, and I think that would be it, done forever. And if